Good morning. I apologize. I'm a little sick or getting over a cold, so my throat is and my voice is just a little haggard. But I wanted to take a minute here to go over with you guys what our process is and how we go about doing our lighting designs, and from start to finish, just a quick summary so that way you guys can kind of get an idea of the process, what all is involved, and how it's going to help you along while building your house. So here's a good example of a home that we did, and it's a visualization rendering. And now this is to help the client understand what the possibilities are, what it could look like, the feeling that we're going for. It's not necessarily like photometrics or 100% accurate. This is more like the schematic design. This is what we want the place to look and feel like. And we get the 3D model from the architect, and then we draw in the lighting ourselves. You can see with these beams, I'll just go through the layers of light in this space. If I turn on, you'll see we have overhead downlights to push light with narrow optics as well, so you can push light all the way down from that high ceiling. If we do a wide flood, it's not even going to reach the ground, so we have a narrow optics to get all the way down to the ground. We also have linear tape light up on top of the beams to cast up light into the ceiling. And what we're trying to do is just wash the space with light, wash the walls. And sometimes we create intentional contrast, even like over here, maybe this art piece. The picture's not there, but you can see that's a frame for an art piece. We got a couple of recessed downlights. In the actual drawing, we have suspended pendant lights that are adjustable and can be aimed, and then with an indirect light on top. A lot of what we do is called layering, where we layer in the light. Like over here, we have two in-ground lights that are casting a low ambient uplight to create shadows and draw attention to this little client's going to have a wood bench. It doesn't look exactly like that, but we just drew that up there for idea for so they can see what it would look like. And then underneath this seating area, underneath the wood, excuse me, the concrete seating, we have tape light to cast an underglow. So just within the space, we have one down light, one up light, two, the art light, three, the decorative light, four, this underglow, 5 layers of light already. And then you go over here towards the stairs. You can see stair tread lights. You also see the decorative suspended light, and then there's also some recessed down lights to fill in the space with ambient light. So that's a lot of what it is. That's the technique called layering. Over here we have downlight, single pendant or multi-mini pendant. In here it's a cove light, indirect up, and then there's also recessed downlight shooting down. And then there's also the decorative lighting, and we locate the decorative lights on the plans, and sometimes we put in a filler in the spec, but ultimately the client or the interior designer picks out that decorative light, what they want to go there. Here we have multi-cluster pendant, just again showing an idea. We have recessed downlights, we have under counter light under the glow, we have 3 pinhole lights over here, bar light, we have LED panel, which they would cut and put a glass over. Same thing in here. RGBW is on the spec, so they can change it. Bend it over here. This is one program that we go in and draw everything up to give the client the idea of the feel. And then when it comes to accuracy, we don't put this on the plans, but this is what we do on the background. And because the numbers actually tell us, we go and do the product research in the beginning based on what we talked about, what the client wants. And then we take that IES file and we put it in our program and run numbers to see, okay, is this actually getting the amount of light that we say it's going to down to the ground, these downlights? Because on this one, the client wanted, we can do tunable white on our recessed lights. We can do dim to warm or just a static white. And a lot of times the dim to warm and tunable white doesn't have that high lumen output. So we actually had to do it as recessed multiples, and we picked out a project where we can change out the optics. But I believe this one is like a 40 um, degree flood to get the light down into the ground. And then here we have shown the IS files for the pendants, where to aim it, and then we have the indirect lights up on the beams. So any areas of concern, we do photometrics on to make sure it's spot on and accurate. And like outside, they want to do some light shadow concept. So we picked out a fixture that you can adjust the beam on it. And here's the 50-degree beam. Here's the 10-degree beam. And we also told them how far out to mount it from the ground, where to aim it at on the plans. And then here, they want to uplight their eave here. So we were proposing, it's actually the client's original idea, to do a couple in-ground lights, but we ran it to make sure it would work because some of the original ideas that we came up with actually didn't work. So, and I thought they would, but that's why it's important to do this, so we can look at it and see and make sure. And then in the final stages, we use SketchUp, but here are some of the final documents, what they look like. Cover sheet, and then here's the lighting plan based on that visualization and that photometrics. We have a lot of the notes in there, and everything we do is we show lighting placement and the types, so you know which type it is, because a lot of the lights are performing a different function. They have different mounting, they have different optics, so that's why they have different types made. They have a different exterior rating, where one can be interior. In here, we're doing all dim to warm. Everything else is static white. So those are definitely different types than these would be right here, because that's a focus in the house where they want it to look really nice and feel really nice. And this shows upper part of the floor, upper floor plan. So here we show space these out 4 feet, 2 feet from the wall, centered between the beams. Down here, install to each side of art piece, location based on art size and location. Photometrics ran 3 feet off the wall, space 5 feet apart, bottom of fixture at 14 feet above finished floor, and aimed to lower opposite side of art piece. Art piece reference was 4 foot wide by 6 foot long. You can also, a lot of these, when we look for product like that are aimable, so you can point it towards the art. And then a lot of times you can change out the optics too, so if something's not working, it can be adjusted in the field by the installing contractor. Also, we provide wiring diagrams, so that way it's not a control design, but it's to show you which zones are going to be switched together. If you guys need help with maybe an installing contractor who can do controls, we can help recommend that, because a lot of people's lighting control everyone is different. So a lot of this is all the switching zones, showing which ones are supposed to be turned on together, which ones are supposed to be turned off. Here's the general sections detail. For cove lighting details, many different ways to do a cove. General ambient lighting placement for lights where you're not doing, you're just lighting the space. You're not trying to do intentional contrast or highlight art on the wall. This is a guide for typical placement, how you want to space out your fixtures. The mathematical way to place it out, you take the length, divide it by the number of fixtures, and that's how far out you space your fixtures, and then half of that to the wall, because there's no other light over here, so that's why you do half. And then you also look on the fixture to see the spacing criteria, to see if it can handle being 8 foot space apart without creating light gaps. Here is wall washing versus wall grazing. Here's a concept for step, toe kick type lights. Here's also baseboard type lighting, surface mount, the one that's recessed where the drywall would sit on top of, and then maybe a recessed step light or linear tape light that's recessed and up high in the wall. shelf cabinet lighting. Some ideas a lot of the times do like a 45-degree mount channel and put in the front of the shelf of the cabinet, and then the cabinet maker makes a 3/4 inch reveal to conceal that, and it shines back on the backsplash. Another option is to have it routed into the shelf. Then you put the channel up in there, tape, lens, and remote drivers and everything. Um, and then here's our schedule, all the types, everything that we've labeled. It all is broken out, and we're looking at all those details, whether or not, so you all see here even the decorative fixtures we have over to provide or specify. But then on the other lights, we're looking at mounting details, we're looking at color temp, we're looking at optics, we're picking all that out in voltage and specifying out what's called the nomenclature, the part number, to make it all work with the project, and like that ceiling types, the mounting it needs to be, everything, and picking that out. We do that in this Excel file, and then we upload it onto that drawing after it's done. You see a lot of the part numbers are quite long, and yeah, it's important to get it right when you specify it. Otherwise, a lot of times it won't work with the ceiling mounting or the mounting that's in there, or maybe the function that we're trying to achieve here. Like, this looks really good in this visualization, but making it look that way is a whole different art. You got to look at all the details, look at all the optics and the material, and try to bounce the light off the walls. And everything we're doing, we're trying to eliminate glare, create adjustability, whether that's through the color temperature of the light, the dimmability of it, and even its ability to aim and point towards the wall and bounce the light off the wall. Here's a good, sorry guys, my throat is just somewhat haggard, but here's a good example of a large 16,000 square foot residence that we worked on. This was the $350 per square foot price because of the detail and the intricate work that was involved. You can see, look here, a lot of detail. Rings in the master closet, recessed rings with a pendant, closet lights. Their garages have honeycomb surface lights and then color changing lights, and everything we did there was like a high performance tunable white full spectrum RGB TW, so meaning that it's changing from 1800 Kelvin or even lower all the way up to 10,000 Kelvin, and colors, there's like 14 million colors to choose from. We did a visualization on this as well because client wanted, they had 21 different art locations, so we were going through and identifying each art location. Oh, even here we're doing tape light up in the chasm, showing that pixel RGBW custom cut in the bar top. Same thing within the ceiling here, and we even have a section note to show that, and got the drawings on the detail on that ceiling and drew it in what it should look like for the lighting. Here are the bedrooms, different art locations. We show the footage mount, how far off each light should be. We look at the architectural design, the interior spec book, and try to fill in all those little light gaps that they want. Maybe some accent light behind some material finishes so it looks like a light is just seeping out. Same thing here. Decorative lights, again, a lot of layering in the light to make the space feel unique. Create a whole different feeling than just flooding the space with light. Another space there. Here too, linear bendable tape light. We go look and specify all that to make it work here. Recessed linear tape with glare shield, so that way it can just cast light down the wall here and highlight the rock wall. More art lighting, recessed RGBW, tunable white, circular light that's going to be flush in the ceiling, and then square cove light, pool table light, everything there. And then here's that detail on that ceiling over the bar. Their beams, they're highlighting their beams with a linear light. So they put a cover over the top, and we're just showing here what that's supposed to look like. And the light gets mounted up in there. The chasm detail here. Again, the general section notes, and then the full fixture schedule. I think this one had it had something like 60 types, so a lot of detail, a lot of work, trying to make it all look and feel very unique and highlight the architectural detail, highlight the interior design, and make the space look and feel good. And then we draft that all up so the contractor has a lighting plan to follow and install. So that's our process. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, and have a great day. Thanks.